I believe that our out-of-control food and farming and land use system is the number one contributor to greenhouse gases that's heating up the planet and is going to kill us all. So the ETC group has done a very good analysis of how the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the categories they use are oversimplified. And if you look at the full carbon cycle of our food and farming and land use system, the majority of the greenhouse gases come from this. This is everything from the energy used on the farms to run the equipment and the irrigation to the fossil fuels used to produce billions of pounds of toxic pesticides and fungicides, herbicides, chemical fertilizer. It extends into the fact that we're whacking down the tropical rainforests of the world so that we can have GMO soybean plantations, or so that we can have palm oil plantations, or so that we can have so-called biofuel. It includes these figures the amount of energy used to transport the food halfway around the world that used to be produced, locally. It includes the carbon footprint of the enormous processing industry and packaging industry, which is literally 10 to 15% of all the greenhouse gas emissions in the world. When I grew up, and certainly in my grandparents' generation, you either grew your own food or you went to a grocery store where everything in that grocery store was from a 100-mile radius, and you went home and you cooked from scratch. Right now in the United States, 90% of the food that consumers eat is processed, and 60% is heavily processed. The obesity, the attention and deficit disorders. The United States is unraveling at the seams because of our out-of-control food and farming and land use system. These factory farms that produce 2/3 of the meat and animal products in the entire world, right? What are they feeding the animals? GMOs, right? The primary reason why the Amazon has gone down, why small farmers have been, basically kicked off the land, why, 12 million people in Argentina are in the line of fire with these damn airplanes spraying poison, is because your animal feed is the engine driving that. We are not going to save the planet if we destroy the lungs of the planet. We have got to step up to the plate and really act in solidarity with the people of Latin America and the people in Asia. We've got to start the other way. We used to have 15 trillion trees on the earth. Now we got 10 trillion trees. We got to plant trees, appropriate species. Agroforestry has to become an integral part, like it once was, of agriculture. We got to release the billions of animals on the planet who are imprisoned in these factory farms, being stuffed with genetically engineered grain and drugged with the antibiotics and the hormones and that. If we don't release those animals from prison and stop eating that crap, we're all going to perish in a climate holocaust that is accelerating every day. We got to get the animals back on the land, because believe it or not, the animals are our friends. They're going to get the carbon from the atmosphere, and they're going to help us put it back in the ground where it used to be. Well, how do they do that? Well, if they're grazing, herbivores especially, if they're grazing on perennial grasses out there, what they do is they bite off the top of the grass. and if they have the freedom to move, they will, enjoy that sweetest part themselves and move on to something else. Okay? Once the plant has the top third bitten off by an animal, the plant automatically sends a signal down to its roots to shed the roots and to concentrate on rebuilding, the top part so it can survive. Okay? That's the kind of animal agriculture that we need. The cows will save us, but only if we let them out of prison.